Nasty. You are nasty. Is sex still the same? Ooh, here's some truths. Me, myself, and I. How do you know someone is the one? You know when you get that feeling like, it's coming. So guys, today we are talking about relationship truths. And I told you guys on Snapchat and Twitter, and some of the questions and messages you guys sent to me, I'm like, all right, we're really gonna get into it, aren't we? And for those of you who've never watched me before or don't know who I am, hi, I'm Patricia. Welcome to my channel. You can subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But I have basically been in a relationship for like 10 long years. No, not 10 long years, but yeah, I've been in a relationship for basically 10 years. I'm celebrating my 5 years of marriage. Me and my partner, we met at university when I was like 18. He was 20. So we met when we were kind of young and at that stage of growing up together. But what I wanted to do is to kind of give you guys a little bit of home truths about, you know, long-term relationships and what it's actually like from my perspective and like my story, and then also answer some of your questions. So relationship truth number one is that, you know, clearly everything is not peachy. Dun dun dun. Not rocket science to say that. Most relationships, people have ups, they have downs, they have arguments, they have blowouts, they have walking out the doors. I've had a couple of walking out the doors. Mike's had a couple of walking out the doors. That ish happens. And I think the difference between like relationships that go the mile is that when blow-ups happen, how do the people address it? And I feel like with a lot of people in relationships, or when I look at some people's relationships, like they don't talk. It's like there's a blow-up or something and then they just never come and address it, or they address it at the time where things are happening and it goes really, really left field. I think that when it comes to having blow-ups in like relationships, is not to do anything that is going to be permanently destructive, like anything physical or saying just words that are just beyond cutting, which is one of those things. I'm not gonna even lie, I can have a sharp mouth, as what my mother would say, like sharp mouth. I would say one thing that would just, like, where did that come from? And I had to learn real quickly that I can't say those things. But blow-ups definitely happen in like long-term relationships. The best thing that you can do though is to address what causes the blow-ups, try to prevent it from happening, and also communicate and talk about it after it happens, not at the time that it's going on, because it's just gonna become a shouting match or a like silent match. Relationship number two is that people get bored of each other. Like, you know what? The truth of the matter is that sparks fly in a different way. And when I say in regards to being bored with each other, is that a case of, you know, before you might always want to be doing stuff or like constantly busy, let's do something really exciting. And when you get to my age, like I'm like, shh, 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 shh. Like, don't say anything. Let's just sit here in silence. Silence actually is something that two people appreciate, especially if you hear each other's voices all the time. So when I used to see like my partner, or I knew he was coming around to my house, I'd be like, oh my God, like, oh my God. You know when you get that feeling like, he's coming. Like, I don't feel that way. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if Michael goes away for a couple of days, or we haven't seen each other, or I've been really busy, or he's been really busy, like when we get to have a weekend together, we get quite excited. Like, oh, like it's like almost like a breathing out. So I do definitely have that like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, babe. It's not the butterflies, but it's like, like all is well with the world when I see you. If you're in a relationship and when you see your partner, you think, ugh, here they are again. I mean, you might want to reassess that situation because it might not be great. Another relationship truth is that you don't have to live with someone to know what they like or who they are. And I never lived with Michael before we got married. We never we'd spent lots of time with each other, we'd stayed over at each other's homes and stuff, but we never like had a flat together or moved in with each other or anything like that. And I know a lot of people feel like, you know, you need to live with someone before you get to know who they are. But I think that someone is always someone at a particular point in time, but they change based on life and experiences and things that happen to them. And actually, the person, you might have lived with them for a year and said, yeah, you know what, live with them for a year, they're amazing, yeah, let me get married to them. 10 years time, they might be a different person, and nobody stays the same. However, I think what you find is that there is a fundamental foundation about a person that you kind of decide, you know what, I'm here for it. It means that you can kind of weather the storms of personality changes because there's a fundamental foundation that you see in someone. Relationship truth number 2 is I do not believe that there is the one. Oh my god, like he's the one, he's my soulmate. Like no, like I really genuinely don't believe that. And I know some people are like, oh my gosh, what? No, I think that, you know, there could be 5 or 6 different people who I could spend the rest of my life with. And I always say this, I say relationship is, it's all about choices. Also, love is a choice. Like, it's making the decision to continually be with a person or relate to that person or, you know, forgive that person. And it's a choice that you keep making every single day. And I think that, say I met another guy, not now, but like a guy, like he had that fundamental foundation that I look for in a person. He's felt that I had that fundamental trait. And then we were both like, you know what, we are the kind of people who are going to choose to stay in this relationship and choose to work on this relationship. He can also be the one. So there is no the one, there is a one for the moment and the one that you choose to stay with. In relationships, why people end up breaking up a lot is because they choose, you know what, I'm not going to give my time, I'm not going to sacrifice, I'm going to give up. And what you'll find is that there's one person in a relationship who's giving their all and the other person who is not giving their all. Another relationship choose is that the way that you love each other kind of changes. So yeah, I feel like love changes. So when you're like young and a teenager and you're in the raves together, like you love each other in a kind of infatuation way. And actually, like when me and Michael go away on holiday, like, and we have a little night out, you know, there's no baby, there's drinks, like we love each other in that same way we loved each other like when we were really young. Like that kind of more like, hell, I love you, like, you know, snogging in the club. Like we never, actually, we might have done that once in a while. Yeah, I feel like the way that you love each other is different, and for me, I feel like I love my partner more now, but also differently. It's more, I don't know, I can't explain. It's like a warm love. It's like a really deep heat love, or a firm foundation love versus just a fleeting love. And obviously, you know, the passion and stuff can still be there at times, but not all the time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like not always like really passionate, and it's not always been like, it's like not always like really passionate, and I'm not swept off my feet, but you know, we can have those moments. Love definitely changes, but it doesn't get worse or better. It just becomes a different type or a different feeling of love. And I wish there was a way to like explain it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys know about a way of explaining love. This is another relationship truth. Being in a relationship is not going to make you happier. If anything, it can actually make you unhappier. And the reason being, when you are single, all you've got to think about is you, yourself, and I. Me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. You don't have to think about anybody else's time, anybody else's schedule, anybody else hurting you, anybody else breaking your heart, anyone else being late for you, anyone else not doing something the way you want. You trust me. When you're in a relationship, there is this level of compromise. You can't do just what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. You have always got another person to think about, and not everybody's ready for that. There's nothing wrong if you're someone who's slightly selfish, like people say they don't want to have kids because they're selfish. You know what? At least you know, then you bringing kids into this world and you're being an awful parent. Like, what's the point in being that person? And the same breath, I feel like some people, they want to get in relationships and then they're unhappy. You were rushing. Where are you rushing to? You weren't ready to give of yourself. And also you got with someone who wasn't ready to give of themselves either. So enjoy your moments of singleness, because sometimes it's absolutely necessary until you are ready to kind of, you know, be willing to compromise, and there are things that you want that you ain't gonna be able to get. That is actually a real truth. So those are some of my relationship truths, and I'm gonna go ahead. This video is gonna be long. I've decided that I actually like long videos. If I do a 30-minute video, this is just gonna be what happens. We should have a segment like the long videos, the long ass video segment. When did you know that he was the one? I do not believe there was any point in time where I thought, you know what, my partner is the one. I think as we liked each other, we continued to grow together. I realized we got on. I realized that he had the key things that I knew that I wanted in a partner. And I knew that he would make a good husband and a good father. I was like, okay, cool. I want to get married, because I was the kind of person that I needed to settle down, because I can be all over the place. My mom says I got wild eyes. I'm like, as you guys can probably tell. So I felt like being married really early was a good foundation for me to like get on with the rest of my life. It was evidence of certain traits that make me know, yep, he's the one. How often do you argue, and how do you ensure arguments are resolved for the best of the relationship? Ooh, here's some truths. I would say, I mean, what's your definition of argue? We might have like a big blowout argument, like once every 3 months, like a big argument or something like that. We might have bickering moments, like once a week at least, like a little bicker, like, oh no, but you didn't take that out. But no, it wasn't my job to do that though. But why didn't you do that? So we will have that kind of bicker. And a lot of the times you'll find that in relationship, it's little things that can cause a problem. I am telling you that we had an argument because Michael ordered pizza from Pizza Hut and not Pizza Express. It was a genuine argument over you going to the wrong pizza store. Can you imagine? And this happens in relationships, and people don't realize it's the little things that cause arguments. And I think one of the things I've been learning to do is it's not everything to have a moan about. Because if not, you're going to argue over, is it tap water or bottled water? The one thing I like to do is, you know, accept that I'm wrong. And also for my husband's part is to say sorry. Because sometimes guys don't like to say sorry. They like to solutionize and explain as to why they're not wrong. But a sweet word of, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, can kind of, you know, make an argument go away. Why do guys try to talk to you while they have a whole girlfriend? Like your girlfriend is living and breathing, yet you are always in my DMs, text messaging, telling me about, hey, I want to see you. Hey. Lol, this one made me laugh my head out. I mean, I feel like, this sounds really bad, but I feel like guys are greedy now. Like, especially if they're not settled down, they have a girlfriend, but they still want to do a little bit of tasting. What's out there? What's the opportunity? From my perspective, as a lady, you shouldn't be that opportunity. And I think that girls nowadays need to do their research. There are some girls I know of who, they were dating someone. They thought it was, you know, official until they find on Instagram that their man got married to another woman. Oh. Do your research, ladies. Do your research. The struggle is very real out there, very real. Okay, how do you keep the fire after 10 years together? You two are literally goals. Oh, that's so cute. The honest truth is Michael is my best friend. Like, genuinely my best friend. We crack so much joke together. We enjoy each other's company. There are things we like to do together. And also we talk a lot. I feel like in relationships nowadays that everything ends up going online, or everyone's always on their phone. Like, we try to have no phones in the bedroom. We try to make sure we would communicate and just make sure we're present with each other. That's how we keep the spark alive. Was there a period when you wanted to break up with Mike? If yes, and why? Okay, so we did break up, and I believe that I vlogged during that time, like back in the day, like it was like 6 years ago or something. We had a breakup, and we had a breakup when Michael was in Manchester and I was in London. And I'll be honest, the breakup was because I was on a hype. Like, I was in London, I was interning, you know, I was partying every night. I was like, I want to live my life. And then he was in Manchester and I was in London, and he had no plan on moving to London, and I had no plan on moving to Manchester. So I thought maybe our relationship wasn't going to happen because, you know, I didn't know how it was gonna work. We just weren't sure about where our relationship was gonna go, or if we were going to do it. How does your relationship change once you're married, especially once that honeymoon phase is over? I feel like you get very comfortable with each other, like real comfortable with each other. And I think you communicate more, and I think you communicate more about everything. So sometimes I don't think you know, when you're dating, that people don't see like the things that hurt you or upset you or the true like raw emotion that you might be feeling. But when you're married, it's all let out. Like your partner's gonna see absolutely everything about you, or they should do. And in my relationship, like Michael's seen every side of me, like literally every side, and I've seen every side of him as well. And it's the kind of things that no one outside of this marriage would ever see. Like no one would see it. Oh my gosh. So this also went all the way in. Hi Patricia, actually amazing relationship truths. Yes, is sex still the same like in the relationship? Day 1 will not be as great as year 20. Lol. Does the compassion change? And I was told that if your partner sees you giving birth, his sexual attraction is different. So I will number 1 say, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. Please, family, turn off right now. Like literally right now. So is it the same? No, it is not the same. I would say it is different. I say that the key thing that happens is that the longer you're with someone, the more comfortable you are with someone. So the more you're able to try to explore and to also know what works for someone. So I feel like all that awkwardness has gone, and I feel like when you're with someone, in the early days when you're with someone, it's kind of awkward, but you know, after like 10 years, like you're not awkward, you're like, let's go all in, let's get. That's all I'm going to say about this. Does the compassion change? Yeah, I think that when you're with someone for longer, you're both trying to pleasure each other a bit more because you want to keep everything exciting. So that's a good thing. I was told that if your partner sees you giving birth, his sexual attraction is different. I completely disagree. Let's just get into it. When I was pregnant, like my sexual drive was like all the way. But afterwards, I was like really on it. And he was like, yeah, I'm here for it. So yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. When dating or married, did the thought of having to go poo and your mate knowing that you're pooing bother you? A lot of girls worry about this. Do you know what? I know exactly what you mean. So if I went to his house, you know, when we first started dating, I would definitely not do a number 2 in the loo. And actually, I think if you girls are doing that early on, you're nasty. You are nasty. And there's nothing wrong with having a poo, but like, let's not just, it's not the first day I meet you and you go upstairs and you start, you know, releasing all your bodily fluids in his bathroom. It's not that deep. And it took, do you know what, I'll be honest with you, I think we waited till we were married to get comfortable like that. Honestly, I wasn't comfortable like just taking a dump in his loo or letting him know, by the way, I just need to go take a dump. Like, yeah, no. However, now we're like if I'm feeling a bit constipated, I'll be like, well, you know what, I really need a loo. Like, you're like, oh, maybe you should take some of this medicine or something. So we're way more comfortable with it now, which is actually hilarious. Because at the time, like, I would have died. Like, do I think it's normal for a 24-year-old who has never been in a relationship to not be interested in being in one? No, if you are not interested in relationships, then you're not. The funny thing is, I think that, and this is what I was saying, that relationships are not everything. Like in some circumstances, it's actually nicer to be single than to be with someone and to be stressed. And I think it's really important for people to reflect on themselves. There are many people who are happy single, long term. However, I mean, when you're in that old age pensioners home and you're by yourself and you're looking at all the other families and you just got one tear rolling down your face, you might want to think about your life choices. However, you might build like an amazing entity or an amazing orphanage, or I don't know, you might do something in your life that touches so many people where you end up having a family who aren't your remote family but are family in another way. But if you're not thinking about relationships, just make sure you're thinking about yourself and making sure that you're happy. How important is sex in a relationship? I think that sex is, of course, very, very important in a relationship, but I think it's also reflective of how good you feel with each other. Like when we've been tense or had arguments and stuff, the last thing that's on our mind is basically even being attracted to each other. But if our relationship is good and like we're calm and we've been communicating and we're in a good place, it'll be happening all the time, which is always a good thing. Is marriage really what it seems when you watch and see it on Instagram and Snapchat? No, definitely not. What you see are highlights of relationships. People are not going to vlog while they're screaming at each other. People are not going to be holding cameras when they're not talking to each other. They're not going to be doing that. They're not going to be like, so right now me and Patricia are not talking. Like, they're not going to do that. So what you see are the best bits, or moments which people are enjoying, or things that people are just doing because they've got to do it for the cameras. So no, I don't think the internet is any kind of resemblance of real life relationship. How to get over an ex? I mean, they say get under someone else. No, I completely disagree with that. Time is a healer. Red flags to indicate that he is not the one. Eyes that are all the way over here all the time looking at someone else. Secretiveness. So I need my privacy. What's privacy? What is privacy? There's no such thing as privacy. I didn't have privacy growing up. My mum kicked down my door. In my home, there's no privacy. I have every password. I have every lock. I have everything. And it is vice versa. Like, I think people who want to be separate, like, I throw my phone at my partner, like, babe, look at this. Like, no, it's nothing. So people who are like, I really need my privacy. What's your privacy for? You don't have other options. I am your option. We are private together. So yeah, red flag. Would you forgive if your partner cheated and promised to never do it again? And another person asks, can relationships happen or heal after cheating? And I honestly think they can. I think that people do make mistakes, and I think cheating is one of those mistakes that definitely happens. And I think that you can think that the most innocent person would never cheat, and they might do that cheat. And there are certain guys who are just obvious constant cheaters, and some women choose to be with them. I'm not here for that. However, if I had a partner who cheated one time, I would definitely be able to forgive them. I don't think cheating is a deal breaker. I actually don't. Crazy, right? Alright guys, so that is my long ass relationship truths video. I loved it. I had a fun time filming it. I loved all your questions. You guys really went in there. I feel like I revealed a lot. I don't know if it will all go in the video, but we will see. But yeah, if there are any other topics that you guys want me to talk about, please do let me know. I will do them. I can't wait to do more stuff like this, okay? I love it. I enjoy it. And you guys know that talking is my thing. So yeah, we'll chat a little bit more. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Bye. Today's video is a drugstore dash. Oh Lord, it just looks ashy. I'm just upset. Come through nose highlighter. It smells like bubblegum. Hello.